Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, we're back again with another alliance war. Now this is war number 10, so we are in the last week of alliance war season number 25. Currently ASR are in second place, mere points behind the first place. So needless to say, this is a very important war if we want to have possibly any chance at all whatsoever of finishing first. But either way, getting into top 3 would be awesome, and obviously we want to maintain it. So in this video, we are going up against Palo, who are very capable alliance for sure, very frequent masters level alliance, and it's a very important war. Right, so let's get cracking with it. Now, as I start the war, pretty much, we're gonna notice that I'm bringing in Magic, Human Torch, and Warlock for this war. It's a bit different team than I normally do, and there is no Quake in sight, so I'm sure plenty of you will utterly enjoy that. However, I must warn you that this is actually my worst war in a very long time. I think over a year. This is worst war since I joined ASR for me during seasons, for sure, without a doubt. And without making any excuses, I have been doing quite poorly over the last couple of days due to a mixture of reasons, and that clearly is also affecting the way I can play. And it's also a large reason why I still haven't done the Abyss stream yet. But hey, Alliance War is Alliance War, and Alliance War waits for nobody. In the hindsight, though, I probably should have informed my officers as the war was starting or before it started that I'm not really in the tip-top shape to do the hard fights. And unfortunately, in this war, I get to do some of them, and that is gonna bite me in the rear end. So the first fight here is on Path 2, and for me personally, Path 2 is like pretty much the scariest path in Section 1. Now, I don't necessarily think it's the hardest one. I have done most of them, and it's not really as much as the fights are incredibly difficult. They're just very scary. And so I started this fight wrong from beginning. This clearly shows that I'm not really thinking properly. Because this node has power struggle. Why the hell did I want to put that infection on Omega Red, thus basically reducing his power gain and making sure I can't throw special attacks in time. And then on top of that, I also let him use that special one before I used mine. So as an end result, he's already at like 8 Furies, and this fight is all of a sudden extremely risky. Now I can take the parries, but I am at this point already panicking a bit and rushing to finish off. This is not a good example of how you're meant to do this fight. But luckily, it finished just about fine. So this was not well played fight. One mistake, and at that point, I would have been probably dead when he was on like 10 plus Furies. And next fight's up against Juggernaut. And I could have brought in Magic if I wanted to, but I'm just going to go with Human Torch. Because the thing with Magic is you have to play well for prolonged periods of time. And I have enough kind of like hindsight, self-reflection, that I knew that I'm not really doing too well. So I knew that the faster I have a chance of getting out of this fight, the better. And I thought that Human Torch is much better option, being a rank 3 6-star, being boosted, and even if I do make a mess, and even if Juggernaut does start pounding at me, he will be taking damage meanwhile, and I have much better chance of finishing this fight reasonably well. And yeah, so here we can see that I have like 14, 15, 16, 17 smolders, and that Juggernaut is kind of melting away. In this fight, he only got actually 3 Fury, so I actually played this fight significantly better. And that was it for my day 1 contribution, and this is already day 2. And on day 2, I am on path number 3. And path number 3 is relatively easy. It honestly isn't the hardest path. You just need to have a hard counter to whatever you are facing. And in this case, on this node is Angela, and Angela isn't the hardest opponent by any means, but I also kind of underestimated her a bit, because Angela does hit very hard, and she has class advantage, and the fight's actually going to take quite a bit of a time, even though my Warlock is also rank 3 and boosted. Obviously, because Angela has heal, and Warlock isn't too great of a counter to Angela, because she has plenty of buffs, so all my infections expire very, very quickly. Here I actually ate a couple of hits. I was very lucky and fortunate that it was only a couple, and I still have 3/4 of my health left. Otherwise, it could have been significantly worse. But at this point, I'm doing okay. And I know that this fight is as simple as it comes. And again, it's much more an issue of me right now being unable to focus and unable to play well than it is issue of the fight. So as long as I keep it very simple, keep it basic, I should be doing just fine. And so a minute in, she's at like 30%. And yeah, it's a straightforward fight. Another level 2. And yeah, sorry, exactly 1 minute, and the fight is over. Now, next fight is going to be Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange fight is going to be very simple. There's not too much fuss about it. I just need to bring in Human Torch, parry 3 hits, parry 3 hits. That's the plan. If I end up eating a level 3, not a big deal. 1 level 3 is not going to kill me, and I'm going to be easily able to kill that Doctor Strange by the time he gets to his second level 3. So you can see that Incinerates are putting in work. He's a Mystic champion. He's absolutely melting away, taking the hits on block on purpose. Don't really want to trigger Dexterity, in case he has Mystic Dispersion. Just want to get in as many hits as quickly as possible. At this point, no flames are activating. I have 9 Smolders. I'm dropping my level 2, and that completely finishes the fight. So it's a fairly quick, straightforward fight. Not much to do there. And next up, it's Hyperion. Now, I do make a mistake in this fight. The champion to use for this fight was designated Warlock, and it is the best option, realistically. Now, I should have, in hindsight, well, normally I would have double-checked with my alliance whether this guy has willpower or not, because it is a common trend these days, and I do it myself when I remove willpower for alliance or defense. But I didn't. I just kind of went, he probably has it. And he didn't. So you're going to notice in a second, I apply bleed, and there's no willpower healing. And without willpower healing, Warlock's power control abilities are much more limited. On top of that, we do have strike counter node here. And with the strike counter node, obviously, it's only a matter of time till I will be unable to get to any special attacks at all whatsoever. And on top of that, obviously, Hyperion does have a buff active at all times. At the very least, 1 buff, which is power gain. And that makes my infections expire quicker. Now, combination of my infections expiring quicker with that huge buffet node, with combination of me being unable to drop my level 2s and him not having willpower, makes this into a very hard fight, where I do need to manage buffet node, because it is a very potent buffet node, and I do need to be aggressive, and I do need to land my hits and parries. And we can see any single time I do trigger Dexterity and I do trigger buffet node and I don't have infection up, he heals for a huge amount. So this fight all of a sudden is very tricky and hard. Now, I could have completely avoided it had I not been such a huge dumbass and just activated Indestructible 3 boost, because realistically I have like 4 of them still, or 5 of them, and there's no reason to save it. That didn't, so all of a sudden this fight is very tricky, very scary. If I had Indestructible 3 boost, it would be straightforward. I'd just hit the Hyperion, be super aggressive, never bother baiting out the special attacks, and yeah, let him drop the level 3s on me, and just move on and keep battering at him. And by the time he would reach his 4th level 3, I'd probably be done with the guy. But now, over 2 minutes in this fight, he's still at 27%, and I'm managing. Thankfully, I'm managing because he's cooperating. This fight could have very well been a death here, and worst thing is it could have been prevented. It's just me not being all there. Couple of these days. All right, that's it for this bit. But then here comes the worst part, and this is at the end of the war. Now, luckily, and I'm gonna spoil the war here, we were ahead enough. Thank fuck for that. Now I do have this Symbiote Supreme to take care of, which is a straightforward fight. I'm gonna activate some boosts, put on Indestructible 3 boost. I think I also, so I'm gonna put on my Indestructible 3 boost, and just bring in Human Torch. And that fight's gonna be super easy. Like, it's really kind of tricky to die here with Human Torch, especially if you have Indestructible 3 boost active, I suppose. So we can see that this Symbiote Supreme is melting away. There's not much to that. 20 seconds in, he's already lost like 40% of his health, and my damage output is just increasing and increasing. And at this point, there's pretty much nothing to worry about. I'm also going to time my level 2 perfectly, so he gets to level 3. He's pretty much dead after this level 2. There's stun, there are incinerates. I'm going to drop my level 1. The fight's over. And I still had the indestructible boost. Now, the biggest fuck-ups come here. Now, the first big problem is that I knew that I have a boss assigned to me, and I knew that I'm in absolutely no condition right now to take it. And I didn't tell anybody, and I was like, yeah, it's Mojo, I have Human Torch, or Magic. I could use either of these champions, and I have soloed Mojos plenty of times. So I'm gonna activate my Human Torch pre-fight ability, and I'm gonna go in against Mojo, but I have also removed my Dexterity, which typically is the smart play. I do have a couple of Mr. Fantastic pre-fights there, why not? And I'm just gonna start messing up. I'm gonna start doubting myself. I'm gonna be too slow to punish. I get parried here. I waste my Indestructible 3 boost and eat a hit. At this point, I'm still like, okay, this is very, very serious now, but I can still make it. We can see that I already have taken down like 20% of his health. Drops his level 1, which is perfect, which is exactly what I want him to do. And I do land the 3-hit combo once again, and I'm gonna go in for another combo, and we can see that he is absolutely melting away. I just need to maintain this fight for another 30 seconds, and he's gonna be dead. Max. 30 seconds, he'll be down. But that was not the case, so I get cornered since I have removed Dexterity. At this point, even though I should have just activated level 3, but just eat the hits and die. So this marked my second death of the war. And then I was asked to go back in and finish the fight with Magic and just to corner lock it. And unfortunately, at that point, I was already like super pissed off, and I was having a rough day as is. But unfortunately, at that point, I actually really regret not recording it. Well, I didn't do it on purpose, but because I played absolutely awful. I had zero like confidence. I made some risky. What's the best way to describe that fight? I had zero confidence. I didn't do the things that were very easy and I should have done. Instead, eventually, I got caught. I got to very low health, and then I started making risky plays. Obviously, messed up again and died. So I died twice to this Mojo boss, which is the most I have died in one war this season, and I think last season and many seasons put together. I think I haven't died twice in a single season war well over a year by now, so that's a very, very bad war. Also, this is the first season in ASR, I believe, where I have had 3 deaths in a single season now, which is a huge, huge shame. And yeah, overall, I'm not gonna say embarrassed, but it definitely kind of like showcases a low point for me. And it was just one of those things that added to everything else that's gone wrong recently. And yeah, man, it sucks. But let's look on the bright side. We won the war. 2 wars left, and then I'll be able to take some break. Now, my biggest hope is that I don't fuck up too much in the next 2 wars, and I somehow finish out the season. But yeah, that is about it. I don't want to bring you guys down or anything like that. Stuff happens, and need to move forward. All that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I will catch you guys soon. See ya!